What's going on, guys? Hopefully this video is going to go in after the AOP series. If you guys ain't checked that out, be sure and go give her a look. We had some rowdy stuff going, broke a lot of parts. The place is rowdy as ever. I love that place. I believe after talking with one of their owners that's down there, or the guy that's running the place, we're going to attempt to get together and maybe try to set up an event for us to put on next year. That'll be determined at a later date. But if you watch the AOP series, you seen Mike had a little bit of run of bad luck with some wheels and some stuff. Also had the diff make some noise. So being how we ride, we're going to get her tore out of there, see what she tore up. Mike being Mike went ahead and bought a spare diff. So over here with the baller status, I guess. So, and you've looked quite a bit online. There is not a whole lot on people tearing out the front diff in a Pro R, right?
No. I mean, all the guys that have seem like have earned it. And it does seem like there's a Friday Pro R and like a Tuesday Pro R, seemingly. But there is a difference between the 22 Pro R front diff.
And that's what you have.
That's what I have. Mine's 22. And the 23 Plus Pro R front diff. Initially, they had a recall for the bolts backing out of the 22s. And for whatever reason, obviously there's not a lot of Pro Rs that break diffs, and when they do, seemingly it's because they earned it. But for whatever reason, 23 Plus, they made them physically larger. Not by a lot, and I know the specs are out there, I don't have it handy. So I did buy a 23, considering how we ride. I did buy a 23 Plus, and we tear it out. We're going to try to see what broke, because one wheel stopped spinning. Right, at one point in time, a couple point in time.
Yep.
Then it pulled, and then it didn't, and so we're I'm not hearing a lot of crunchy noises, but it's seemingly not pulling than it is. So we're gonna find out what broke or bent, I guess.
Yeah. Say she's definitely got some voodoo going on inside of her, but however, it hasn't fully quit turning. Kind of like my X3 stuff, when it breaks, it just stops altogether, or like a RS1, usually they'll ratchet once or twice, or like a Visco, those things, or the 1K diffs in the Polaris, them things will just ratchet forever and just continue to live. Like I say, this thing started making a little bit of noise, so we're gonna get her ripped out of here and see what she's about. Come on. Alrighty, one other thing we wanted to throw in here, if you watched the AOP series, seen Mike had a little bit of run of bad luck. He's broken, what, 5 of those?
Bro, yes.
5.
Yes.
The old girl over there, she's a little heavy. So we got with Metal FX, and they said that they don't really recommend that light of wheel for the type of stuff we're doing.
Yeah.
He said that's a little stretching the limits on it, which obviously we have found. So they gave us the hookup on some new wheels that they say are going to be better. So
they call this their KOH wheel.
Yeah, that's supposed to be.
And this was supposed to be a sand wheel, and they don't offer a warranty, but they definitely took care of it after speaking with us. They took. I'm a believer in second chances. And they definitely took care of me on the situation.
Yeah.
I was ready to throw him out. I talked to him. He said I would never recommend that wheel, yada yada. I think you should put it on their website, but regardless, they took care of me on this set. I'm gonna give them a second chance. They say this is their King of the Hammer wheel. It's the Hitman R. So we're gonna see. We're definitely gonna see, because I went through 5 of them, 2 in one weekend, 2 in what's AOP, and then 1 some other time.
Yep. So, like I say, it's super cool that they wanted to step up and try to make the situation right. Like I say, they said they don't offer a warranty, but they definitely helped him out on it a little bit. So super cool that they're working with them and working with us. So hopefully we can get some more stuff working with them in the future if this pans out. But we're going to get back into the diff of this thing. Come on. All right, So after a little bit of research and talking to Jesse from Somewhat Haggard, I know he's had his diff out a couple times in this. Mike's been on the phone with him a little bit trying to pick up some pointers and tips, but hopefully we're gonna take you along with us and kind of show you how we do it and what we find the easiest. But obviously you're obvious. Mike has all CA suspension, so the shock fork and everything's gone, but it's all kind of the same setup. Obviously you're going to take axle nut, get the hub out of the way, however you want to go about that. Shock's got to come out. Hopefully we can lift everything up, kind of ratchet strap all the main components out of the way. He talked to Jesse and he said that the upper control arm on the driver's side has to come out. So we'll have to get that off in its own. Bumper and winch has to come out. So we'll start getting her ripped apart and let you know if we find anything along the way. All right, well, kind of a weird design of how they got everything to come apart on this. It looks like you have to take the upper control arm off first. You take your brake caliper off. Tie rod's got to come off. And then you can hopefully rotate this out of the way enough to get the axle to come out of the hub and the wheel bearing, and then pull it out of the diff, because they don't have it to where you can just drop the hub down and get the ball joint out without having the axle in there. So definitely a little different scenario of how things come apart, but give you a little tip on how to get them out of there and we'll go from there. All right, well, it is quite the puzzle piece on how these things do have to come apart. Get the caliper bolts out. This one won't come out until you get the tie rod end out. Usually you just take a hammer, good size hammer, you can smack on the knuckle. Obviously it's not going to do it because I'm videoing, but usually take a hammer, smack the knuckle a couple times, those will come out. Then we can go ahead and finish taking the upper control arm out and get the shock bolt out. All right, well, once you get your upper ball joint out, the shock bolt out, control arm will fall down far enough, hub rotates out, and then you can spin that out of the way, and hopefully the axle is going to pop right out. We're going to give Mike the honors because we're not sure if that's an OEM or a Rhino, so we're about to find out if we're going to have to ride the struggle bus or not struggle bus. Oh. Yep, should have bought a Can-Am.
Here we go, Mike's gonna get pissed. Here we go.
He said he's doing great. He's going to take a deep breath and he's going to think about it.
When I replaced that side, it was pulling a lot of tricks out, and I prayed to Jesus, and we worked through it together. And after a couple hours, we got it out. So
yeah, so go over here and show you real quick on the new one. I've always had really good luck with on the rear of Can-Am, and also these, they're all sealed. So that means there's no oil in here. So when you put your axle back in, do not put anti-seize or anything on it. He just had to get out of the camera. Do not put anti-seize on it. Put grease, some sort of just
like
regular.
In front of this one when I replaced it.
Regular plain old grease. Yep. And that is what saves you from being able to not have to destroy your axles to get them out of a sealed diff. So, a little trick I've learned along the way, helps out a ton. Hopefully he's got one more side to go here. I'm gonna stand back and watch him struggle a little bit.
Well,
He's got to do some stuff with some things and some stuff. Oh.
Don't hold the camera on me, I'll get it, okay?
You gotta talk nice to her. She's sensitive.
Come on.
Got that hip thrust into it.
Brother!
It's because you're holding your breath. You're forgetting your breathing treatment.
Oh, my tongue was on the wrong. Okay.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
All right, try again.
Brother, I'm pulling. You can do it. Let's do it. Camera out.
All right, well, now would be a real good time for YouTube to throw in a nice commercial break for you. Come on. All righty, well, we're both fat and out of breath now, sweating, because it's like 95 degrees outside still, and it's almost dark, but you can see that side was the original one that he broke, and he did put grease on it, but after so long, you can still see that the grease is gone and it was all dried up. Ended up spraying it with a little bit of penetrating oil, and then you can take a curved pry bar and kind of get in behind it. You don't want to get too deep in there because you could potentially damage the case or something, but you can pry on the back side of that CV and just kind of work it, spin it around, work it. You can put a slide hammer on it, but the problem with slide hammer, you risk with pulling the actual CV off the axle bar, so also potentially ruins your boots or whatever. That's one of the better ways I've found to get them apart. It still kind of sucks, but it came out. So we'll see what we got to get out of there next to start moving the diff. She looks buried in there, so we're gonna see. Alrighty, well, we got dug a little deeper in here. Got the winch plate taken off the front. This is a Polaris 6,000 pound winch and plate. I don't know what is the same, but on this we just had 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here. I took the fairlead off, that removed the bumper. Obviously the front fascia plastic, and then there's 2 bolts on the top, all pretty easy. Luckily these are threaded into the ends of the tubes, so those are just simple bolts to come out. Looks like we got to take the upper control arm off, because you got to get to your bolt inside of there to take the through bolts out of the diff. Unplug a couple actuators, and I do believe just take the drive shaft off. Looks like it might be I can't turn it right now. Looks like it's either a roll pin or a bolt, and get that taken out so the drive shaft will come off, and hopefully that thing will just slide right out of the front there.
Supposedly that's a pin in the drive shaft that we're going to turn into a grade 8 bolt through bolt.
Okay, so
What I've been told.
Alrighty, so a couple more bolts and hopefully that thing will come out of there.
Your side.
Alrighty, like I say, had to take the control arm off on the driver's side so you can get to this front bolt because it's directly behind the control arm. Take those 2 bolts out. We just set the control arm kind of out of the way, got it held up with a bungee cord, set it out of the way.
5, 7, 8 stuff like that.
Yeah, it's some of that voodoo magic for bolts that they don't like to put the same size on both sides. Those are always nice. Pull those 2 out, and I believe all we have left is to take the drive shaft pin out. And I'm sure it really shows on camera, but it's in there. She's gonna be entertaining to get to, so come on. Alrighty, well, so far the Pro R has almost whooped me and Mike. Definitely wouldn't say this is the most easiest diff to remove, because that's how she had to come out. I'm gonna go take mine out just so I can do it quickly again, but
I mean, granted, my frame's twisted up, but at the same time, and our biggest holdup was that pin.
This roll pin here kind of gave us quite a bit of issues. We smacked on it for quite a while, and she never even moved or thought about moving. Side note, it will come out of here with the drive shaft on it if your roll pin won't come out. But these, I'll go show you on the other one over here in the light.
I plugged that.
That's all right. So this is the new one that you were looking at. So when you go to take these out, if you can't get your drive shaft to come off, I would probably take these out anyway, just because I think you're going to need the extra room. Take both of these solenoids off. I'm not sure which one we had off earlier, but these solenoids just come out, and there's a plunger with a spring in there that's just moving an actuator inside of there. But these just screw right off of here, and that'll give you a ton of room to get that thing
we would have known
snaked out of there.
That would have saved us 10-15 minutes easy.
Yeah, that's a big tip on that. So the problem you have at it is these 2 gussets right here. You can kind of see those actuators getting to come past that at the same time is a pretty big pain, all while trying to get everything else snaked out through there. But it will come out with the drive shaft on it for anyone that's watching this video hating their life because they have to take their diff out of their Pro R. So.
Nothing on the hook back here.
Yep, it's just a spline that goes on the transmission back there, and it just slid right out. In the textbook, it just falls right out. So, but we will hopefully get the roll pin knocked out of it. Probably start throwing it back together, and then we are going to take that thing apart and see what's broke. So, start going back together. Alrighty, well, curiosity killed the cat, so we decided we were going to take it off, or take it apart before we started putting it back together. We did find a little bit of carnage, but not very much.
It makes sense.
Yes, and it is, from my Can-Am experience, it is very crazy how similar these are. The pinion kind of all bolts in the same. It does have spider gears, which is the same. And this is roughly the same size ring and pinion that a Can-Am has. So that's kind of interesting to know what these go through that a Can-Am essentially doesn't go through, which I think a lot of it is saved from the piece in the transmission that lets the front diff slip, or essentially not be powered once it hits a certain load. But the carnage that we found, so this is your side cover, and it is on, this locking ring is on a fork here that works off of the springed actuator, which all that does is moves it up and down and essentially moves this ring in and out of this groove. Well, once the spider gears line up, this ring will essentially slide all the way down in there, and then now it is locked four-wheel drive. Well, I think the noise that we were hearing is this ring is essentially getting popped back out from the force of this spring, or I'm not sure if this spring is like some sort of wear item or something. Usually springs don't wear out, but it definitely seems like either these have got some just normal wear on them, and that's what caused them to jump outside of the spider gear. Try to get it to focus in here. You can kind of see where that is not square. You can see where it slipped, and that is the noise that we're hearing. But as far as everything else goes, it does look, bearings all look okay. Ring and pinion gear looks good. It does have just a tick of play up and down in the pinion, but nothing super crazy. Just for how we ride and the things we do, and sake of putting it back in and out of this thing, because it's definitely not the easiest thing I've ever changed the diff on. It will probably get a new pinion bearing, a new locking ring, and I'm sure he's going to have to take this apart and get the one side spider gear that is inside of here. Hopefully you can buy those individual, because otherwise I'm sure those are going to get expensive in a hurry. How much was the whole diff, Mike?
So this diff has 300 miles on it, is what he told me, off eBay.
So this one isn't new.
It is not new. The new one, off from the same guy, brand new, was either 16, 1800, somewhere in that range, brand new. I got this one for 14 shipped.
Okay.
And
yeah, it looks very, very new. So.
Very lightly used.
Yep.
So that price versus the similarities in a Halo, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So we'll see on the cost difference. We'll try to hopefully get that thrown in here before the video comes out. I can throw it in. Kind of what the price difference is on ordering parts for this thing versus just buying a new one that's only $1,800. So that seems pretty cheap in my book. And by the time I'm assuming this thing's going to be probably at least $400 or $500 put back together if he's got to buy a set of spider gears. So I'm sure they got their Polaris name on them, so that's going to automatically add another 100. So
that is a 22 diff. Did you mention that?
I did not. So this is a 22 diff. I have a 22 machine, obviously, and this diff is a 23. which is a bigger ring and pinion. I'm sure if you want to look it up, you can check it out. It's not a whole lot different, but it is a little bit bigger. So in theory, bigger should be better, but
you can get a 22 diff off that guy for $1,200.
oh,
They're significantly cheaper because everybody wants that one.
Okay, so yeah, even more, like you're getting awful close into just a couple $100 worth of difference versus buying one complete and not having to take the thing apart. So that'll be good information to have, I guess. But he's filling that one up with fluid. We got the roll pin drilled out, going to get replaced with a bolt. So hopefully at a later date we have to go through this issue again. That'll be a lot easier to take apart and hopefully not have to fight it near as bad. But we'll get some of this monstrosity cleaned up and try to get her thrown back together. Alrighty, well, Mike says he's gonna put her back in with the little solenoids or whatever the hell you want to call them, actuators on the side. I think Mike says he's gonna give it to her.
Let me clean her out first, bud.
Oh, he's got to blow the dust off. Oh, take all that plastic off, you wouldn't have no problem with weight reduction.
Yeah, there might be some plans for that someday.
Oh, wouldn't know anything about that, would we? Alrighty, well, he's putting some more factory oil dry down there, and let's see if she'll go back in her home. What the hell are you doing, bud? I just sweat. Like, come on.
My bad, Dad. It's my first time working in the garage.
What are you doing? You got your gloves on and everything.
Yeah, that's because I got those bitch hands.
Got those female hands. He's in there doing dishes and stuff.
Yeah, see, I'm on fucking office work now, bud.
Uh-huh. Stays pounding those buttons. Keyboard warriors, come on. You gonna put that thing in there today or what?
We're going strong.
I'd like to go home sometime today. Hey, I hate to tell you, but it ain't gonna go in like that. Now you're talking.
I was testing it.
Just testing it.
Yeah. See if you're paying attention.
Yeah, that's for you internet
That's what my dad
people.
used to say.
Yeah, it's for you internet people. He's just checking to see if it was going in the right way. He's doing stuff with things and stuff. It's doing things. But I think this is where the things are about to get serious. See if we can get in here and show you a little light on the old predicament here. You can see the actuator is touching right there. He just doesn't want to listen to old Dad. And the actuator's touching right there. So close but so far away. You guys tell me how long you want me to video him with him struggling here. I think he's gonna have to let me take that actuator off to get her back in there. Oh, you scratched it already. What the hell are you doing?
Well, that was the problem.
Why? Damn it.
Give me a hammer.
Just feed it in there. We got a big one right there.
I mean, literally, I think
All right. Well, after Dad listened and decided we wanted to take this
I read
actuator
this on the
off.
internet. It wasn't because you said to do it.
Is that what it was?
Just to clarify.
Just because it was on the internet. It's not raining outside or nothing right now either. So we'll see if she goes in her home now. Oh, you're doing things. Gotta hold your mouth right.
Problem up top.
You're not holding your mouth enough to the left. What are you doing, bro?
The top's not going in, bruh.
You had it farther than that earlier.
No, I didn't.
Need me to go in and get her for you or what?
Oh, I think I'm doing it. Nope.
You're not even close.
Its problem is right up here.
It's because you ain't got it straight.
It's straight?
Don't you know you gotta get it straight before you can go slamming?
What would you know about being straight?
Nothing at all. I just want you to put it in the hole. What are you doing? Push!
Oh, yeah. Where's a mallet? I do need a mallet.
He's getting it wedged. It's never gonna come out again. Never gonna go in. That thing's gonna fall out and break now. Let's let Dad do it.
No, don't you touch it.
Oh, come on. I think I can get it. Oh, nope. Yep, it's not going. And Mike needs a new radiator. All right, well, another thing to throw in here too, these bolts right here and right there, you take those loose and that'll loosen those ears up and that'll help let you slide the diff in. We did also end up taking this back actuator off to try to help get more room to get in there, because this thing's still not any fun to put in, but it is in there. I'm trying to get the drive shaft thrown on it, get the bolts lined up, and we can start putting her back together. So, alrighty, well, it's now 4 days later. It's 76 hours into this, and it's finally almost back together.
Put the diff in.
Mike hasn't done anything at all. Dad had to put the diff in. We had to take the whole thing apart. We had to go back to the back and take the muffler off. That was what was holding the whole thing up. This thing is a absolute mess, but it is back together. So it's successfully been whooped. Yes, more plastic. I'm throwing all the plastic away. So, but it is back together. It did fight quite a bit, but it is in there.
We learned some tricks.
Yeah, I'd say we could do it in about an hour or two less next time. Yeah. But for the first one, not having any idea, hopefully this video is going to help a couple future people take their diff out of the Pro R when they break them. But that's going to be pretty well it for this. Be sure and stay tuned. We do have a easy steer that is going to go in with the factory steering on it. So I don't believe anybody's done that yet, but hopefully it's going to be a real good upgrade for this thing. Try to help it out in the steering world. I've made them all really jealous because I have hydro and they all hate me now. But we are going to throw the tires on her, get her strapped up, throw her on the old truck and trailer, take her up to the Wizard Dane, and we're going to fab a easy steer motor into it and see what she's about. Come on. We got Mike's Pro R back in here. We are going to attempt to tear the dash out of this thing. Has been a menace so far. And we're going to put a Super ATV steering motor in on top of the factory steering from the Pro R. As the Pro R has the steering unit built into the steering rack. So we're going to attempt to put a second steering motor in line and hopefully make a little bit easier steering in this thing. I kind of ruined all of them when I went to hydro. They've all kind of gotten my stuff and seen how much that non-hydro life sucks. So we're trying to make up for that with this Super ATV steering kit. I know Billy just put one of those in his Turbo S. He said he loves it. I think Cody's got one on the way. And then we're going to try to put one in Mike's. Mike's kit is only a 400 watt because I think that we've been talking back and forth that it is going to essentially be too strong and may overpower the factory DPS because that all still has to go through that. But we're going to put it in and see what happens. So I think they're like in between $400 and $600 or something like that, depending on who you buy them from. So it'll be hopefully a good add-on, and we'll try to take you guys through it. Come on. Alrighty, well, got the bracket fabbed up in there, got it going back together. Everything went good on the test fit, pulled back apart and got it all welded out. This is what we came up with. So it's got two kickers that come off from over here and one up here, just kind of make everything nice and strong and rigid. Kind of see it's got this flat plate there. It's welded in there pretty nice. All the angles lined up good. You see the steering shaft down here where it mocks up, goes into the factory steering joints down there through the firewall. Polaris is nice enough. They have a bus bar up top that you just have you can buy a plug and have your power and ground and all the hookups you need to wire the thing up. But so far it fits pretty good. We'll get the top of the steering shaft thrown back in there, go out and see how she does. Alrighty, well, finally got the thing all finished up. Turned out pretty good. Seems to work pretty decent. Just took it for a short little drive around the driveway there, but all still fits as factory. Tilt wheel still works, telescope thing, all that stuff remains the same. Like you seen earlier, got the bracket and everything fabbed up in there. She all fits pretty nice. I'll turn the key on here. Probably gonna be a little noisy with the fans running, but turned on. Go ahead and lock it. It's in diff lock, 4-wheel drive, and try to get where you can see both here. It's a little rough on the old one finger, but definitely turns better than factory did. So go take it for a little drive around driveway. Let you guys check it out. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and leave it. It's still in 4-wheel drive diff lock. See down there on the gauge. I'm gonna back out of here. All the way to lock. Just a little bit of effort in it, not too bad. So you can definitely way better than stock steering on it. I hadn't drove it a whole lot. Obviously it's Mike's machine, but just from what I've unloaded it, loaded it off the trailer, it's a lot better. I'll go ahead and take out 4-wheel drive so don't tear the grass up too bad, and watch out for the clippings. No, I'd definitely say it was worth the money, and should be a big improvement over the factory stuff. Try to get her out and put her in some rocks, see how she's about. Alrighty, well, figure we'd give you a little bit of a teaser for where we're going for our next trip. I don't know if any of this looks familiar, but we out here at Wellsville. We got Mike's stuff brought back to him. What do you think about that new steering so far? Say you got a lot more time in it than I do. What do you think?
Wild, the difference, really. We've tooled around here a little bit, but 4-wheel diff lock feels like 2-wheel drive. And we put it on your machine, it pushed it over with one hand, and it just moves your machine out of the way, put it up against the trailer. You can tell that it has some resistance, so it's definitely not hydro, but it is not far off.
Yeah, and for a quarter of the price, essentially, it's don't seem like a bad setup so far. You also got some new add-ons for the old girl. We out here trying to hill kill, so we hit up Z-Bros, got him some new quick disconnect rear sway bars. It look like a super nice piece. Got a couple new RPM goodies on my stuff as well. We've got I've had a little bit of issues with the belt getting a little warm, trying to rock crawl and whatnot and bouncing back and forth on some ledges. So hit those guys up. They got me hooked up with a clutch blower. Got that thing all installed. Definitely moved some air, so hopefully that'll keep the belt engagement nice and happy when we're out trying to get in the rowdy stuff for the rock crawling. But we're gonna get out here at Wellsville and see what she's got. It's Thursday night. Gonna get shown around by LMB. They locals to the park, so gonna go see what she got. I say this is where all the big boys come to play on the hills, so we're gonna see if we can fit in and find some. So thank you guys. Alrighty, well, that's gonna do it for today's garage video. Hopefully there was enough to make a full video on this. I know it's not real popular on or I guess if anybody's done anything really for upgrades for the steering for the Pro R. Everybody says they're pretty good, but for the type of stuff we do with it, they still kind of suck a little bit. You can try to get it in some real rough rock gardens or something like that, or even hill killing. The steering wheel tries to get ripped out of your hands running the 35s, especially when it's in diff lock. I know Mike's been pretty adamant about that. He's kind of been wanting some better steering for a while with it. I think it's got 2,200 miles on it or something like that, so he's got a pretty decent little feel for it and kind of how it acts. But that's probably gonna do it for today. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate the hell out of it. We're getting close to that 5K mark on the subscribers, so be sure and go hit that button. So that's my goal for end of the year. I want that 5,000 subscribers. So make sure you go log into your grandma's account, your mom's account, and hit that button. So appreciate the hell out of it. Come on.